everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Whitney, and today we are back at it again with another story time. Today, as you can see in the title, I'm gonna be talking to you about another whack ass friend that I had that, you know, she put me in this terrible predicament and I was caught in this nonsense buffoonery back in the day when people passed notes. So if you guys are interested in the ridiculousness that I had to go through, then keep on watching. So to give you guys a whole synopsis, background, whatever of the story so that it can make sense, in middle school, I was in New York, right? Like, I was basically coming into this school where instead of in elementary school where everyone was nice to me, I was nice to everyone, we had a great time. In middle school, I went from the greatest friend, not the greatest friend, but like a great friend, right? Like where people were cool with me, to that girl who was mad skinny with a big forehead, had a really big nose, like she was mad weird looking, and she had really short hair, like she was bald headed, you know? Like I was that girl who people didn't necessarily want to be around. And my friends, I didn't have a whole bunch of them. Like I had a substantial amount of friends because there was a lot of people, like a lot of real ones, shout out to you guys, who didn't care what nobody else said, right? Like who either didn't care what no one else said or were made fun of too and just didn't really care anymore, right? Like we stuck together as a group. And so with this going forward, I had this friend and we're gonna call her Dana. And so Dana had a very beautiful name. I really like her name to this day, but you know, if I chose that name for my child, I think it would be like appropriation because she's Italian and it's a very Italian name. So like, okay, so I had this friend Dana who was known kinda of being like a liar. Like she kind of lied a lot. And so I've known Dana ever since like 4th, 5th grade. Like a lot of us grew up together, right? Who were coming into this. And like, if I say like one more time, oh my God. But anyways, I don't even know how to tell this story correctly. All I know, it was trash. So we were in middle school and I had lunch with Dana and my friend Emily all the time. I don't know if you guys remember Emily, but like I said in my last video, like we were tight. She was my girl, right? So me and Emily were together all the time. Dana was, I almost said her name, was, you know, she was at our table, but I don't know if she was ever truly close to anyone because of how like manipulative she was. But I've always wanted to be friends with those type of people who didn't have a lot of friends or anything like that, because I didn't want anyone to feel like they were alone. I didn't like other people being bullied. Like I was even friends with this one guy like in elementary school who like smelled really bad and used to get made fun of for it, but I was just like, you know what, don't make fun of him, that's my friend, everybody leave him alone. Like I was that person. So like I was okay with being Dana's friend because I was like, maybe she's just misunderstood. So I would always be friends with people who were not really misunderstood, but who I thought were misunderstood. And so I wanted them to have friends, and I genuinely liked them as well, you know, like they weren't terrible people, they just had a flaw. They had a flaw, right? So let's talk about Dana. Dana was kind of, you know, well developed for her age, and she, you know, was very beautiful. She had the assets that guys would have wanted at the time, and she had very beautiful hair. So Dana ended up, you know, telling me about her crush, and her crush, we're going to name him, I don't even remember their names, I don't even know if they're relevant enough to have names, but her crush, let's see, what are we gonna name him? Let's just name him Zach. Whatever, Zach, because he was really cute, and he was on the basketball team, right? And so that was a very big thing for us because, you know, middle schools don't really have football teams. I mean, they practice, but I mean, not really. And it was very like kind of like they were kind of like the jocks of the school to be on the basketball team. And so in this basketball team, right, like, I mean, wait, hold on, I think middle schools do have football, but you know, it wasn't really that important in my school, to my knowledge anyways. So Zach was on the basketball team, and Zach was very cute. He was very sweet. He was a very good guy. And like you never really heard of him being in any type of drama like at all, because he was like just like a regular dude. He was a regular dude. He was mad sweet, mad cool. He was nice to everybody. He was nice to me, knowing about my reputation. And you know, every day I would hear Dana talk about, oh my God, Zach is so cute. Like, I want to be with him. Like, I want to talk to him. Or like the next day, oh my God, he said hi to me. I sit behind him in class. Like, we have conversations. You know, that whole middle school thing, like when just having a conversation with somebody means that you like them, whatever. And so like she was like on him. Like, she genuinely was like, I'm going to get him to be my boyfriend. Like, we have a good vibe. I like him. He'll get to know me, you know, like we're gonna talk. And Dana was like head over heels for this guy, and I genuinely don't think that they ever talked. Like, I did not believe her, because, you know, even though I was friends with these type of misunderstood people, I wasn't dumb. Like, I wasn't an idiot. Like, I definitely was trying to watch out, because she did have a problem with lying. One of these days, right, like we were talking in the lunchroom, and she stops me mid-sentence. She's like, hold on. Like, she was mad rude about it too. Like, she was like, hold on, shut up. And I was like, what? And Dana was like, does Zach have a girlfriend? And I was like, So during this whole process where she was like talking about like him, you know, being cute or whatever, I had an inkling, because I just had an idea that he wasn't single. And I don't remember where I heard it from, but I just thought that he wasn't, you know, available. But I thought I could be wrong. And I was like, if Dana is talking about this guy, like she's gonna get him or whatever, then maybe she knows more than me. Maybe she's not gonna go after somebody who has a girlfriend. And so I hate females. She stops me and she's like, does Zach have a girlfriend? And I was like, and she was like, Whitney, like, you give me that look, like, if you knew, you should have told me, and like, stop playing around, like, go ahead and tell me. And I was like, I mean, I think I heard that he was, you know, not, you know, single, but I wasn't sure. And then she was starting to get mad at me, like, why didn't you tell me? You had me out here looking stupid. She was like doing that whole thing, right? And I was like, hold on. I didn't know if it was true or not. Like, I didn't want to rain on your parade. And apparently you talk to him every single day, so like, I feel like you would know, you would be the one to know whether or not he had a girlfriend. And she was just like, I mean, I had an idea, you know, like, whatever, you had an idea, girl, whatever, bitch. But like, she was just like, I had an idea, and I guess, but you know, I wasn't sure. And with him flirting with me all the time, I didn't think he did, so I thought he was single. I was almost certain that he was single. And I was just like, well, you know, I heard that he's with Lindsay. And so she got so mad. Like, so Zach was a blonde and Lindsay was a blonde as well. And they were of the same race and ethnicity, I believe. And so in New York, you have a whole bunch of ethnicities, a whole bunch of races, you have a whole bunch of people, right? And so typically, what people of different cultures like to do is to stay within their culture because of a language barrier, right? And so to my knowledge, I think that that's kind of why Lindsay and Zach kind of gravitated towards each other, because they were from the same background. I think they were Irish. They were either Irish or Russian. And I'm, you know, I don't know. I feel like I'm more certain that they were Russian, but I'm not too sure, honestly. I really don't know. But, you know, so they were like together because they were of the same culture, to my knowledge, right? And so I was like, I think he's with Lindsay. And she was like, well, I just saw them hug. And I was like, where? And I turned around, and we're in the lunchroom, mind you, and they're sitting next to each other at lunch, you know, being all lovey-dovey all over each other. And you can see Lindsay's face get red and rosy, and I start smiling because I thought it was the cutest thing in the world, but apparently I'm not supposed to think that. And Dana like hits me like that, and I was like, you know, girl, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, don't look at that, don't smile, don't be happy. And I was like, wow. Like, in my head, I was like, girl, you really obsessed with this guy. Like, you need to relax. And so the whole rest of the lunch period, Dana was just going off about how ugly she was, how Dana was like better looking than Lindsay, and like, I don't know why Zach was dating Lindsay when he can get somebody like this, when he can get Italian blood. I remember her being like, he can get Italian blood. I was like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, I literally was like, okay. I was like, I don't know why I hang out with these people, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? And so as we were like going through the day and lunch period ends up ending, I am still talking to Dana. Like, I'm not really even talking, like she's talking, and she was like, I'm gonna come up with a plan. And I was like, okay girl, bye. And like, because we had to go to our next class, and so my next class was after lunch. I think I had science, yeah, because it was right there in that hallway, and she had whatever she had. I don't remember. I just remember her backpack disappearing because I was just like, girl, bye. Like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? After science class, I go back to my locker. Me and Dana had lockers like right next to each other. But I remember like seeing Dana, like she wasn't at her locker. She was further down at a different, you know, like area, but she was leaning against the locker. So I go in my locker and I'm looking at her like, come over here. And she was like, no, you come here. And I was like, okay. And then so I close my locker, I get my stuff, whatever, and I go to her and I'm like, what are you doing? And she was like, I got a plan. And I was like, what is it? I cannot remember this plan for the life of me, guys. Like, I don't remember what it was. I just remember it being so stupid. I remember her being like, that's how I'm going to get them to break up. And my dumbass, I don't know why I decided to say something, and I was like, why don't you just write him a letter? Like, why don't you just write him a note? And she was like, oh, good idea. And I was like, oh no. So she literally takes out a paper from my notebook because I'm holding them in my hand, and she takes that and she takes out her pencil from her backpack and she leans against the lockers, and she was just like saying every word verbatim, like out loud, what she was writing in this letter. And she was like, I saw Lindsay hooking up with another guy down the hallway and like going in, and she was like, I don't think you need to be with her. I just wanted to let you know because I saw this and I'm looking out for you, yada yada, this, that, and the third. And she folded it up, right? And she says, to Zach from Dana. And I'm sitting there, I kid you not, I was like, because it was my fault. Like, I was like, man, I shouldn't have said nothing. And I remember I was just like looking at her and I was just like quiet because I was like, you know what, her business. I'm not gonna do anything about it. I don't know how this can get traced back to me. And so she folds it up, right? She folds it up as tightly as she can, the little note that says the stupid to Zach from Dana, and she tries shoving it in the locker. And I was like, what are you doing? And she was like, this is his locker. And I was like, what the heck? And she literally is trying to push it in like one of the, you know, okay, so let me give you the picture, right? So like in middle school, our lockers were like this big, right? Like they were not that big. This was the doors to the lockers. You had the little turn thingy combination lock here. You open it, that's how you open up your locker, right? And so on the top, you had 3 slits for air, right? In the locker, right? And so she's trying to stuff it into the little slits, like it's not fitting in the bottom one. So she goes to the middle one, which is uncomfortable because you have the bottom one hitting your fingers, and then you go to the top and she couldn't get it in because they're all the same size. So I was just like, if you're not gonna get it in the bottom, you know, whatever. So she's just like, you know what, here, give it to him. And I was like, why? And she was like, you have next period with him, right? And in my head I was like, you know, I knew I should have never told her that, because I know in one of our conversations I was like, oh, I have a class with him, you know, when she was telling me that she had a crush on him, and she was like, I want you to give this to him. And I was like, I don't want to give it to him. And she was like, do it. And I listen, back then I took the note. I took the note. I took it and I put it in my pocket, and I was like, okay. And the bell rang for us to go to class. So here I am sitting in English class with a note in my pocket that literally can be traced to me, and literally she can be lying to me. I mean, not lying to me, but lying on me, talking about like I was the one that made it up and all that. Like, it's literally so easy at this point to pin stuff on me. So we're sitting in class, right? Not me and Dana, just me. I'm sitting in class and I'm just like, what am I going to do? I was not paying attention at all. I was like, I want to have her back, but this letter is so detrimental. I was like, I'm not going to write anything. I'm not I'm not gonna do anything. I can't do it. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong, right? And so I was like, okay. And so I looked down at the note. I pulled it out of my pocket. I remember looking at it and I was like, oh, and I put it back in my pocket. And I remember my teacher passed by me, but I just felt her pass by me, and that's it. And then I remember thinking like, ooh, okay, let me look at it again, because it was really hurting my pockets, right? And so you know how you fit a folded paper in your pockets and it just kind of stabs you a little? So I took it out again, trying to readjust it to put it back in my pocket. And all I see is this. You ever see like, you ever just mind your business and then all of a sudden a teacher is doing this in your face? Like, you know what I mean? And so she was doing one of those and I was just like, what? And she was like, the notes. And I was like, okay. I was like, it's not a no. And she was like, really? Then why does it say to somebody on here and from? And I was like, I didn't say nothing. I just handed her over the note. And I was like, in my head, I was like, well, you know, this is one way that, you know, I could not give it to him. I could just tell her that this happened, right? And so I gave her the note and she goes to her desk and she starts opening it. And I'm like, God, no. And I was like, dear Lord Jesus Christ, like, if you can, bell rings. No, I am not lying to you. I am not lying when I tell you, I pinky promise swear on my mom, as she is opening up the notes, the bell rings and I pack my stuff in my bag with a quickness. I go to put up the backpack. I put it on my back and I fly out of the room. Like, I'm telling you, my track skills came in so clutch in that classroom. I was gone before she could say anything to me. I'm telling you, I was gone. So after that, right, like my teacher, I don't know if she just threw it out immediately. I don't know if she was only doing it she was definitely only trying to open it for show, because like she didn't say nothing to me afterwards. She didn't say not a damn thing. She didn't call me to the office, nothing. Like, I didn't hear from her at all for the rest of the day. After I ran out the classroom, I was just like, okay, I'm about to peace out, and I had to find Dana. So towards the end, when I was trying to look for Dana, right? Like, I went to Dana and I was like, yo, bro. She was like, did you do it? Did you do it? And I was like, no, and let me tell you why. And then she was, of course, upset because she was just like, how am I supposed to get my man if we're not gonna break them up? Like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be my friend, right? And I was like, well, the teacher saw the note. I didn't tell her how it happened. And I was like, the teacher saw the note and she took it from me. So like, she basically caught us, right? And so during this time, Dana was so upset because she was like, I can't get in trouble again. Like, my parents are going to kill me. Did the teacher say anything to you? And I was just like, no, bro, like, nothing happened. Like, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen, but just know that they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna get that letter, the ridiculous letter that you tried to freaking break them up for, you know, because you wanted him, you know, the people I hung out with back in the day. But anyways, so me and Dana were scared for like a good week that something was gonna happen, but nothing ever happened. So thank God, like, my teacher, she got the note, but nothing else transpired from anything. Can you imagine what would have happened if, one, she read the note out loud in front of the class? Jesus Christ. 2, that she read the note in general and then I was sent to the principal's office. 3, if I actually gave it to the dude. Oh my, let me tell you the lessons I have learned, bro. Something real. Thank you guys for joining me today on this beautiful whatever story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, you know, I am trying to start this segment on my channel called A Writer's Scope, where you send to me whatever problems, issues that you have, no matter what it is, regardless. Send it to my email. It's on the screen. And if you don't see it on the screen, it's definitely down in the description box below, where you would see all my social medias as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you never miss when I post a new video. Thank you guys for joining me today on this crazy story time, and I hope to see you guys next week. Thanks. Bye.